This is Thoughts, C, J, and L.
A podcast by three Asian American people with thoughts on being Asian American and people.
On this episode, we're talking about existence.
Let me just start off. There are times. Okay. I just want to say, sometimes I'm like, I hate existing, right? But then, okay, some context for our listeners. Literally, my computer's not working. I'm on my iPad. My Wi-Fi is not working. And I'm so mad. And I'm like, why am I so mad? And that indicates to me there is meaning to existence. The fact that I'm putting energy into this anger right now, and the fact that I'm tired. I'm just saying, if I care enough, apparently, that I'm getting mad about it. So anyways, what does existential dread mean to you?
Did we define this last time? I actually don't remember what we talked about.
Well, according to our planning doc, we have a definition.
Oh, we probably talked about it then.
Yeah.
Let's recap for our listeners. A sense of disorientation, confusion, or anxiety in the face of an apparently meaningless or absurd world.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
This world do be pretty absurd.
That's what we talked about. Or I remember I talked about that last time. The absurdity about how like random things are.
Yeah.
And like, what are the odds? And how crazy that is. And also weird that is.
You know what's also weird to me? Society. World War III.
Wait. Hold the mic.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah.
We can hear you, but there's just like other noises.
Oh, that was the point.
Oh. Sorry, listening to this from an editor's point of view. I'm getting stressed.
The increased chaos of the sound was supposed to like intensify the absurdity of society. But okay, for the editor's point of view.
My brain just can't do it right now.
I think we're all a little angry.
Oh my gosh, I have been so tired. I'm sorry. I feel like I've been hibernating for like the last week and like my drive is just gone.
Should we talk about being tired? What are we? Maybe we shouldn't record.
No, I think we should. I think tiredness draws out our true beings of self. I could also fall asleep right now. I think for this topic, we need to get high.
Tiredness?
Oh, existentialism.
Oh. I feel like I haven't experienced a lot of existential dread lately.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Or is it unnerving?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's because I've been so busy. So, like how sometimes life moves so fast that you can't really think about it.
Yeah.
That's how I'm trying to be.
So that's how I've been feeling, but in a good way, maybe. So I can't decide how I feel about it. I just have observed that.
Do you feel like you're busy so you don't have as much time to think about stuff? Is it like a good balance of busy, or do you feel like you're on the verge of burnout?
I think it's a good busy.
That's good. No, I asked that because I feel like I was in the same position last year because I was in my last year of undergrad. So I was doing school full time, and then on the weekends I was working. And then so I was just really busy. I didn't have a lot of free time. So I was like always on the move. So I didn't have time to think a lot about a lot of stuff. And then like life was just going by really quickly. But also it was good because I wouldn't ruminate as much.
So it's like live in the moment.
Kind of, but at first it was a good balance of busyness, but after a couple months, I was getting really burnt out because I was just too busy. But I resonated with what you were saying when you're talking about good busy, because it's like you're always on the move. And so you don't really think about too much.
Yeah. Except the reason that I've been thinking about this observation that I've had is because, okay, there's that quote that's like, I think, therefore I am, you know? So if you're like living life super fast and not really thinking about a lot of stuff, it feels like, it's weird because it's like you're experiencing everything, but also like sort of detached.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I feel that.
So I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. It's all observational at this point.
Mm.
Do you guys think existential dread is a waste of time?
No.
I think yes and no.
Okay, we have different opinions.
What's your answer, Loho?
I feel like there has to be a good balance, like Kat said about like the I think therefore I am. Like you need to be able to process what you're doing, being like, oh, this is life. But at the same time, I feel like if you're thinking about living, you're not living, if that makes sense. When you're taking the time to think about the fact that you're alive for maybe a second, you're living because you're conscious of it, but then why dread it? I'm playing 2048. It's the only way I can pay attention now.
Okay, but what would be your definition of living in the moment, though?
Like even if you're in a bad situation, right, where maybe you're in a fight with somebody and then you're experiencing that, but like how Kat said, she's kind of just going through the motions almost. I don't know if that's kind of what you meant, but that's what it sounded like to me.
Mm-hmm.
But like even in if you're fighting with someone, like the pure emotion, I feel like that's living, having emotions and having, I don't know, like a certain situation go on.
Mm. So if you're going through the motions, you don't have any emotions, and therefore you're not living,
Yeah,
really.
I feel like they're all connected to whether or not you have emotions.
Mm. I would agree.
Because if you don't feel a particular way about something,
Mm-hmm.
but then again, you can be doing something so that you do feel a particular way. Like if you're working hard so you can make money so that you can have a fun vacation. Like I think that's worthwhile because you're doing something for an end goal. But if you have no end goal,
But it's like if you're not reflecting on what you're doing, obviously you can't be reflecting all of the time, but if you don't take the time to reflect on where you want to go in life and what you want, then I would argue that you're not able to live because you don't have a direction.
yeah, that's true. I think though that's not a waste of time. But if you're contemplating like why am I alive or why are we here? That's a waste of time. Even though I do it all the time.
Yeah, that's why I said yes and no to your question.
Yeah.
Because, well, for me personally, I feel like I contemplate a lot about this stuff. And it's only like recently I've realized that a lot of the rumination that goes on is a waste of time. Actually, I don't know if I would say that. The questioning of purpose and meaning, I don't think it's a waste of time, but it's like what the conclusion is.
The conclusion for what?
Mm, questioning your purpose and what brings meaning into your life is not a waste of time because that's like reflecting on yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you need that to live a good life. But I think the point where it becomes a waste of time is if you make the conclusion that there is no purpose or there is no meaning,
Mm,
because from there it's like, okay, well, then why are we doing anything?
yeah.
Going down that rabbit hole is a waste of time. And I feel like I didn't really realize that until recently. But yeah, that would be the example. Because it just turns into rumination, right? It's just like your
Mhm.
mind is just gonna go in circles at that point, and you're not gonna come up with the conclusion really. Or not, not that you're not gonna come up with a conclusion. It's just a negative cycle, which is not really good for anyone. And it's probably more of an indication that you should get help.
Yeah, that's why I think I said that existential dread isn't a waste of time because I think every person has to like at some point Well, maybe not necessarily. Like if you never happen upon existential dread, then maybe you don't ever need to like answer this question. But for most people, you kind of like hit a point where you have to kind of decide for yourself, okay, I'm here because. And so existential dread is not a waste of time because you like sort of have to go through that process to self-actualize. Is that the definition of self-actualization?
Let's Google it. The realization or fulfillment of one's talents and potentialities.
I don't know if that's what I'm talking about. I don't know. Self-actualization is from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it's the top one, right? Where basically you like realize that you matter. And so you can't reach that until you understand why you want to be here.
Yeah. Like you can't do it all the time, but you should do it sometimes.
Wait, do what?
Existential dread. Just think about it at least.
I also feel like
Oh.
it's not necessarily in your control.
Yeah.
Or at least for me, my sense of drive comes from having a purpose. And it's like, unless I have a reason to do something, it's really hard for me to just do something for fun.
What are things that you don't need to think about for you to have fun? Okay. This is a weird question. For me, Frisbee, when I first started doing it, that was like pure joy that I didn't have to think about.
Mm.
You got any of those? It's just like at face value, something is just that good. For some people, that's like boba. I don't know.
I can't answer that. I mean, not because I don't have an answer, but because I don't want to expose myself.
Oh my gosh. Don't add it to the podcast, but I'd love to hear it.
Actually, no, I have a real answer. Listening to music. I've been an avid music consumer since middle school, and I just do it because I love listening to music. And I would never want to create music because I like listening to it. I don't want to think about it. Like I wouldn't want to make it this complicated thing that I have to like think about and analyze for structure and for art. Like I just want to consume it. It's like the one thing that I think I really consume that I don't want to actually do. I like reading a lot, but I also write a lot. So my consumption of it is really different now than it used to be when I like was just a reader growing up. The music.
That's a good one.
I'm trying to think, but Bloho, it's funny you say Frisbee. That was the reason why I struggled so much playing on a team, because I kept asking myself, oh, like, what's the point of all of this? I talked to my parents a lot about how our whole family's just like a group of workaholics, because we're just like, oh, we have to be productive. And then it's like a negative almost cycle, because it's like, oh my gosh, I have to like be productive with my time. It's like if I have to do something, it has to serve a purpose kind of thing. Like I'm sure there are things that I do just for fun, but I just can't think of it right now.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
You do thoughts for fun? I think I do this for fun. This podcast. Or I don't know. I guess like an example of like the internet stuff I was talking about is those Instagram posts that I made last year for no reason other than I had the idea in my brain and I like it would not leave. So I was like, I need to make this. That was for fun.
That's good.
There's a lot of discourse about this actually on the internet, like doing stuff for fun versus, well, I guess fun is a purpose.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about, well, for context, I'm taking a gap year right now. So I'm not currently in school. And I feel like during this gap year, I've kind of struggled a lot with feeling guilty with all of the time that I have, because I've spent the last like 16 years of my life in school, and it's always like go, go, go. Like there's always a next assignment to do, there's always a deadline to meet kind of thing. It all seems to be building towards this bigger purpose of higher education and learning more about the world. But taking a gap year has really thrown me off, because like for one, I don't have the structure of class time. I don't have to study for exams or anything. I go to work, but it's like I'm doing part-time, so it's like I have more time on my hands. And then I'm like, what do I do now? Because it's like nothing that I really need to do in the moment. And like it is a privilege to have this problem, but it's also like, okay, now I have to rediscover some of my hobbies and like things that I do just for fun or enjoyment. I'm thinking about the things that I do right now. It's like reading or like listening to audiobooks, um, editing, doing this podcast. But even that, I'm like, I guess I do still approach it with like a purpose oriented mindset because it's like, okay, I'm reading and then so I'm learning more about the world or I'm learning about another person's story or with this podcast, I'm sharing my own story or I'm practicing my public speaking skills and all of that. I feel like I still approach it with a purpose oriented mindset.
Going back to the frisbee thing that I talked about earlier, I would just like to say though, that I think I brought that up because I think we mentioned this when we did the exercise episode, but when I'm playing frisbee specifically, I don't think. And for some reason, frisbee is just so fun when I do good things that I don't think. If that makes any sense. Like I feel like it's similar to making the Instagram tiles of like you don't really need to consciously be working on something and still enjoy it. But sorry, that was just an idea that I had from earlier.
Yeah, I agree with that because I feel similarly in that when I'm playing frisbee, I also don't really think. I know people talk about there's like two types of players. There's the player who plays on instincts and another player who like actually think about what they're doing on the field. But I'm
Yeah.
definitely the person who doesn't think when I'm on the
Oh,
field.
it's so bad because then I overthink.
Yeah, yeah. I love playing. And in the moment, it's always really fun. But I feel like it's the moments where I'm like off the field where I start to question the whole purpose thing.
See, I give myself the liberty when I'm not on the field to be so stupid. Like when I'm talking to people on the sideline, that's like unfiltered loho. Like it's, and then for some reason it works.
Mm,
So it's like fun, but
mhm.
I can see how if just thinking, man, I think that's the downfall of society.
Yeah.
But going back to your whole gap year thing, I kind of relate, even though I'm not really taking a gap year, but having more time shows you the problem with the workaholic culture. Like because you're working on something, it kind of takes away from who you are as a person. You can't see, what you're actually interested in or what you like to do without thinking. So it's
Mhm.
very peculiar.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I agree with that, Loho. That work takes away a piece of who you are.
Yeah. Because you're
It's
working, you're not.
yeah, it's a balance though, because I think work also adds meaning, but the workaholic lifestyle definitely takes more meaning than it gives.
Yeah. Like
That's
even if you're studying for school and you're like, this is something that I'm really interested and passionate about, like learning is probably one of the hardest things you could do. And it takes up so much energy. And the process of learning is still work to me. And I feel like
Mhm.
even if you like something so much, I don't know, the idea of school and education and academics, I think is a little silly.
But at the same time, I feel like the workaholic mindset almost gives meaning. Because, like Kat, you're saying how like work takes away from your life and like who you are as a person. Is that what you said?
No, not work generally, but overworking specifically.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like there's also the opposite side where overworking or workaholism can also, in some situations, become your personality.
Oh, for
But
sure.
then it's one dimensional. That's like if anything becomes your one personality.
Hmm.
Like if you're a workaholic and that's your one personality trait. If you're like a gym bro and that's your personality. That's why I think that being a workaholic or being overworked can take away meaning because it becomes the one thing. And then it's like similar to any other like one-dimensional personality archetype that's out there. It's like, well, you do you, I suppose.
Yeah. I was talking to my dad because he's retired right now. Since he's been retired, he's been working on a lot of writing stuff. And that has been like the main activity he's been doing and like what like keeps him going after not working anymore. But he talks a lot about his friends who are retired who essentially don't know what to do with themselves because after you're retired, you have so much time on your hands. You don't have to work anymore. You don't have a schedule. And it's like, okay, like what are they gonna do to keep going. So it's like some people travel the world, or some people just reconnect with people and all of that, or some people go back to work because they don't know what to do with their time, which I thought was really interesting. And he was telling me that for me during my gap year, it's almost a taste of retirement. Because it's like, what do I do with this time? What is going to keep me moving forward?
This is off topic, but I heard my friend, she was like talking to her older friends, and she was saying how like we think our peak is our 20s, but it's actually our 30s, which I find very interesting.
Okay.
Totally unrelated to the conversation we've been having.
They tell us that when I was a kid, they were like, you'll peak when you're a teenager. And then when I was a teenager, they'll be like the 20s. And then now that I'm in my 20s, people are like, it's the 30s. I'm like, no, it's whatever I'm at right now. That's my peak. I live on a plateau. I am always at the peak.
That's the energy we need, Kat. I don't know. It's probably always true though. Like you're always getting better or learning more about yourself. The present is what's the best. Because you're never gonna like you can't be stuck in the future of like, oh, it's gonna get better now. It's like, oh, whatever I am and whatever I know now is the most that I've ever gotten to up until this point, and it's pretty good. So good job, Kat. I'm playing Pokemon 2048 right now.
Nice.
They're different. Instead of numbers, they're the Pokemon, and I think it's actually very helpful. Anyways, what were we talking about before the 30s? Oh, yeah. What are you gonna do with your retirement? I feel like I should spin it so that, well, we can keep having like these serious conversations, but I feel like we haven't like laughed in a hot second, except for when Kat just talked about her plateau. So, anyways, I'm thinking when I'm old, I would like to volunteer at like a dog shelter or like train dogs for certain like services. I think that would be super fun. That's what I have planned. I also, this guy on TikTok had a mini trumpet, and I really want to like get back into playing the trumpet.
You played a trumpet?
In elementary school for like 3 years, but so no.
Wait, were you a band kid?
I thought everyone was a band kid. I wasn't in like marching band or whatever, but we had like band class. Is that?
You were almost a band kid. I am talking specifically about marching band, but okay. That makes sense actually.
I don't know. Like everybody at my school played instruments because then you get
But
in a
you
class.
were a band kid and you weren't in orchestra.
I played the cello for 1 year
Oh.
because you could switch, and I was like, let's change it up, pals.
Wait, I'm not a band kid. Well, I did color guard for 1 year. I don't know if that counts.
Oh, you're definitely a band kid. Color guard is the same energy.
Wait, knowing this makes so much sense. Guys, we need to add this to our list of ways to characterize personality.
Oh my gosh. Wait, no, we should talk about that.
Okay, Lo.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Okay. Wait,
Oh my
okay.
gosh, I missed out on a whole conversation.
No,
No.
so okay, I like a couple months ago saw this TikTok where this girl was like, you can characterize people one of 4 ways. They're either warm on the outside and warm on the inside, or cool on the outside and warm on the inside, or cool on the outside and cool on the inside, or warm on the outside and cool on the inside. And it's the vibes.
All right. It's
what if
just
we
the vibes.
tell you what we each think we are?
Okay.
And then we also
the-
like figured out what we thought you were. So then you can like label yourself.
Okay, and see if it matches.
Yeah. And
Okay,
it's the vibes.
let's-
It's the vibes.
Okay.
So I said that I thought I was warm on the outside, but cool on the inside.
I'm cool on the outside and warm on the inside.
Are you guys opposites?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like this one. This one's hard. The vibes are not there for me. Wait. Okay, did you guys both say that I'm warm on the inside and warm on the outside?
Yeah.
Yes.
You got
See-
the vibes.
No, I think I'm just guessing.
Well, okay. I labeled myself as cool on the outside and warm on the inside because I've had multiple people come up to me, like people who became friends with me. They come up to me and they say that the first time they've met me, they thought I was really intimidating. But once they got to know,
Yeah, that's true.
it's like once they get to know me, they're like, oh, you're actually really nice.
So it's just about being nice. Oh my gosh, I see it. I see it. So this checks out for Kat. Because when you first meet Kat, you're like, oh, she's so nice. And then you meet her and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared.
Wait, we were also thinking about it in terms of stubbornness. If you're cold, that means you're more stubborn. And if you're warm, that means you're more flexible.
Oh, so you're calling me passive? Honestly, it checks out again. Kat's pretty stubborn. Jam's pretty not stubborn, even though she seems like it.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, you're the biggest threat, Kat. Oh my gosh. Literally. Oh, I want to be you. That's cool.
No.
No. That's pretty cool. That's a weapon. That's a straight up weapon. Like, okay, Jams is like, that's how all my friendships come to be, is that I'm scared of everybody. And it's like, oh no, it's actually really warm. And it's like a good, like wholesome story. For Kat, it's like she's the villain in the kindest way possible.
Wait,
oh my gosh, Kat should be president. Literally, Kat, you'd be great.
All presidents warm on the outside, cool on the inside.
No, literally. Oh my gosh, you're built for it. Wait, this is amazing. Okay, let's do more people.
Wait, this reminds me of when we were talking about how we became friends, and then Kat was listing off the questions she goes through to determine whether or not someone's worth being her friend.
No, literally.
No. It's not whether they're worth. It's just whether we vibe.
I know, but then
and then for you, that's worth.
I don't know. After that conversation, I was like really scared, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is.
I know.
This is definitely the work of the simulation, because I don't know how I passed.
Wait. Oh my God. I feel like you guys are going to hold that conversation over me. I didn't mean anything malicious. I was just being honest.
No, because that's who you are. You are malicious. No, because listen, but there's like nothing wrong with that, like you know what you want and you're going to get it. You made me realize that I need to like set standards for myself in terms of who I hang out with. Like, I just can't waste my time willy-nilly.
Oh my gosh, I was literally telling that Kat that yesterday, because I was like, I need to decide who I can be friends with and who like I can't handle.
Yeah, it's a thing.
But then Kat's very clear on like who she can handle, who she cannot, or like the types of people that she's like friends with.
Yeah, and it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling my mom I want to be more like Kat.
Oh my gosh. Mom, when I grow up, I want to be like Kat. No, that's good. I can ask people to hang out with me, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, that's how I put my time and energy into whatever. But you're like so intentional with it. Mm-hmm. I'll literally hang out with anybody and I'm like, this is fine. But my thing too is that I think I don't, like, there are a few people who I can have like a maximum great time with. There's not enough people to fulfill my need in that way. But Kat's more selective.
Well, I would also say there's not that many people who, maximum great time, but I feel like there's enough for me. I guess I just feel like I am at a good place with the number of people that I want to hang out with. I was saying this to Jam yesterday, but I feel like the way that I approach friendships is actually pretty selfish if you think about it, because there's like a lot of people who need/want more friends, and I don't necessarily want to be friends with everybody because it's exhausting for me or it's like draining for me. It's a very me-centered approach.
But as Jane's teacher once said, everything you do has selfish intentions. So I feel like even for me, it's selfish because I don't care who I hang out with, really. No, I do care. Don't get that twisted. I'm not going to hang out with all our viewers. Like, it's because I probably crave socializing so much that it's like, it doesn't matter. And then that's selfish of me.
Yeah, we all have different social needs, or the number of people we need to have contact with in order to feel like connected or seen or understood or whatever. Because I feel like my social need is, or at least I've realized this year, is pretty high. So it's like there's a few people where, okay, I like genuinely care about like how you're doing, what you're up to, and all of that. But then there are other interactions where I'm just feeling lonely and I need to hang out with someone, but it's not as intentional, I guess. I have a social need that needs to be met, and you happen to be around.
What trauma response do we think this is?
Wait, I feel like my social need is really low because when I was growing up, I spent a lot of time by myself, not in a bad way, too. Like I was telling Jam about my elementary school shenanigans where I literally don't think I had a friend until middle school. Like, not in a bad way. Like, I didn't like think that that was a bad thing. I just was like, whatever. And then moving around and stuff, like I was always a new kid. So I was like, oh, I'm just by myself, but it's fine. So now, like, as an adult, I'm still in that space where I'm like, I don't really need that, to the point where sometimes it's kind of exhausting to like keep up because like I have friends now. But it's like how I grew up versus how things are now. And then also, what's the other piece? I don't know. Okay, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, there is like a very interesting social need thing going on.
Yeah.
So do you think it's because you moved around so much that you were like, I don't need anybody?
No, I feel like it's just how we are. This was just how I was like as a kid too, like even before the moving. Or I don't know, I guess I moved once pretty early on. Like maybe we have different levels of social need.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense if it's like a combination of your personality and the way you grew up. Because I was also thinking about my own childhood and how I grew up. Because I mean, I didn't move around at all. And I remember distinctly in like first grade, I had a really good friend and she was from South Korea. She was an international student. We essentially became best friends and we only hung out with each other. And then my mom was trying to convince me to make other friends because she's going to be like leaving at the end of the year. And apparently I just like refused because I was like, no, I just need this one really good friend. And she left at the end of the year and I was really sad. Then like it makes a lot of sense when I think back. For a really long time I've always been like, oh my gosh, I need a best friend, or I need like one or two really really good friends and then I'll feel stable. It's like I've always had like a craving to like have those types of friendships.
Interesting. Maybe it is just who we are. Because I feel like I've always been like, I'm going to make friends. And that's that. That's so sad though, Jam.
What?
Your little story.
It's life, man.
That could be a Korean drama.
Oh my gosh, I remember the day that I reconnected with her on Facebook and I was so happy. I mean,
Aw.
we don't talk anymore, but I mean, at least we have a way to talk if we wanted to. Yeah, because like when I was in elementary school, it's not like we had social media or anything. And
Mhm.
so like we
Yeah.
were sending letters to each other at some point, like after she moved. But then like somehow we just stopped and then like we lost contact. And then I was like, oh no, like I'll never see her again. But then we reconnected over Facebook and I was like, oh.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think one thing that I keep thinking about during this conversation, but I haven't found a way to fit it in yet, but I feel like I can now, is the whole idea of, I don't know if it's a TikTok sound or if it's just like a thing in general, but where the person's like, oh, I wish we knew that those were the good old days while we were living the good old days,
Mm.
you know, like positive nostalgia. And I feel like I went through actually a very interesting experience summer 2021 where I was like, I am living my best life right now. And so I was like, these are the good old days. And I was like aware that I was in the good old days.
Mm.
And so it was a very top tier period of my life because I like knew that things were good and I fully appreciated that things were good. And now I'm thinking back and I'm like, damn, I really knocked it out of the park over the summer.
So it's like the combination of good experiences, but also being aware.
Yeah, this past summer I like realized that things were good. And so I was very appreciative of that while I was in it. And then also, just like now in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, I was right. And also, I did good by me while I was in that era of life. Overall, I feel good about it. And I don't think there's like a lot of chunks of my life that I feel that way about, or like people in general feel that way about their lives. Because there's like a reason why people are like, oh, I wish we knew we were in the good old days when we were in them.
Mm.
if we're gonna go full circle back to the beginning. That's why it is in a lot of ways important to think about life while you're living it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Ann Arbor, summer 2019. The best summer.
Wait, but the
ever.
thing is, I was not aware that those were the good old days while we were in those days.
But it was still really fun.
It was fun.
Like, I don't think me not being conscious that it was the best summer ever made it any better or worse. I'm still able to reflect on it and be like, wow, that was a really good summer.
Oh, I say I wasn't aware that those were the good old days because I think I like had a really negative mindset during that summer. And it was
Oh,
only in hindsight that I was like, no, actually that summer was top tier.
I see. I see. That's why
Yeah.
you need to live in the moment.
Yeah.
That's why you need a positive mindset all the time. That's why you can't be cold, Kat. Dude, you literally hold so much power. It's so funny. It's like, looks like a marshmallow could kill you. Looks like they could kill you, could kill you. Looks like a marshmallow is a marshmallow. Looks like they could kill you as a marshmallow. I think it's the same thing.
Same vibes.
Yeah, you're right.
TLDRs? Or do we have more to say?
I feel like we could go on for a while about this, but if you think it's a good stopping point,
I think
we
it's
should
a
just
good.
end it.
Yeah. We've been doing it for about an hour, so
I've been playing 2048 for an hour.
this is the side content that our listeners need.
It's like, you know how in some TV shows there's always like a side story? This is that side story. There's this green monkey that I've never seen before in Pokemon. I think it's one of the newer generations. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. I have yet to get two monkeys on my screen so I can mix them together. Anyways, TLDRs. We talked about a lot today. This was a good episode.
It really was.
Like, it was
Dude.
better than I thought it was going to be.
Me too.
Okay, this is proof that we've improved since season 1 because we did exactly what we did in season 1 where we just turned on the camera and just started talking. But this episode was a lot less chaotic than the first season. So props to us.
We didn't even know we were in the good times. We didn't even know we were having a good conversation until
we stopped.
yeah. We should have known while we were in the moment that we were having a good time so that we could appreciate it more. That's my TLDR.
TLDR, I am a thermos. I'm cold enough and warm on the inside.
Dude, my TLDR was going to be like, Kat's going to rule the world
Oh
one
my
day and we
God.
won't even know it.
TLDR, we're all scared of Kat.
Oh my God. TLDR, don't give up because, well, for a number of reasons, don't give up, but also just take our podcast as an example because I was really ready to give up after the first 5 minutes. If you rewind the tape, I'm like, guys, maybe we should stop.
It just goes to show perseverance sometimes. Even though the times seem bad in the moment, it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you think the times are bad, they turn into the good times that you don't realize are the good times until you realize that it wasn't the bad times until it was over.
So TLDR, it's always the good times.
TLDR, don't think about anything.
No, wait. No, the TLDR is think about life while living it.
Like TLDR.
TLDR, think about life, but don't think about it too much.
Yeah. There's always a good balance. TLDR. Well, the thing is, we can't TLDR this episode. It was so good. There were so many different conversations.
Yeah.
Listen, don't even edit this one. Just let it roll.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. That's good, though, because we're behind on our editing. So.
No, truly, I think you should just let it go. Raw footage.
Only the true fans will listen.
Listen, if I'm going to be honest, only the true fans listen to this podcast, period. Like, there we are.
This is true.
That's true.
The people who matter care, and the people who don't matter don't. No, what was it? Those who care. No. Those who don't matter. those who matter don't. No, that's
Wait, it's those who matter care. Wait.
yeah.
Those who stay
matter.
will be champions.
Oh my god.
Earned, not given. The team, the team, the team. Why, what?
Okay, quick shout out. Follow us on Instagram at ThoughtsWCJL. I realize we haven't promoted our Instagram on any of our episodes, so here's the promotion.
In the penultimate episode. Oh yeah, this is the penultimate episode. So look forward to our finale next week.
You guys aren't even ready. This finale is gonna blow your brains.
Unhinged like no other.
We should make it unhinged themed. Cat's not gonna like it.
Wait, what?
But I don't care. I'm not scared of Cat.
Hold on the inside.
I'm not scared of cats. I'm terrified.
Oh my god. Bye, Jane.
Bye, Jane.